the kids nowadays that are going to clubs missed the whole of COVID going to clubs. So of course, if they listen to like if they hear a Gabba remix of fucking Spice Girls, they're like, I know this and I like this, and we put them together, and now I found my favorite artist.
Yeah, it's nostalgia,
exactly,
as well as like danceable.
Yeah.
Like you can't deny the energy of dance music, especially like donk, hard house. You know, there's so much energy packed in there.
But in a weird way, though, it's like so many nostalgic tracks are like being resampled. Like the last 2 years, I feel like everything's being sampled.
Yeah.
You know, the songs in the charts recently, you know, all sampled old house tunes, and it's like we're almost coming back in a cycle again. But I mean, there's an element of nostalgia to it where I think, you know, there might even be people at the rave whose parents liked that song the first time it came around. So I think there's an element of that, whereas I know that one, but I think as well, it does limit you a little bit creatively. I think like there's got to be a mixture. I think of it's a hard one the way it is at the moment, I think, with the sampling culture.
Yeah,
well, I think that was part of the reason behind this record that me and Jose have done as well, because everything's original. We didn't want to go down the sample route, really. We wanted to write something from the ground up, and you know, it's more personable then.
Yeah, I agree. The whole sample thing is just out of control right now. I don't want to talk shit on it because I've sampled records over the years, and I've had some of my biggest records as samples. But it's for me, it goes back to what we were saying, Josh, with you guys with Got a Feeling. It's like now it feels like people are just using samples just to be successful.
Yeah, it's how you use it. It's how you use it creatively as well.
Yeah.
I think that's a key part in it around sampling. Like all of the best hip hop songs, are all sampled. But I think the important bit is how is it used and how can you be creative with it. There's a lot out there, where it's just basically a kick and a snare and a hi-hat over a sample of a tune, which it can get a little frustrating. But people are making careers out of it, so no shade on them for it. But
how long will those careers last, though?
Yeah, you're right.
For me, it's like you said with hip hop. Like, I know we're probably not allowed to mention his name. Fuck it, Kanye and Jay-Z, the Otis record where they sample Otis Redding, and they did it in such a fucking amazing way, and they made such an amazing original record out of an amazing original record as well. And I'm just like, that's what I'm not getting with what's happening now with sampling. I'm not getting that. I'll be honest, the only person that I think did it insanely well at the beginning of this era of resampling was the Acraze record, Do It To It, where it was like a bit baity of a record, but if a record does like 500 million streams, it's clearly a great record and it's done something very, very well. And I think that's how that whole sample culture started again, because people were like, oh, he sampled a couple of R&B records, now we can do it. But no one really did it in that way.
I mean, it's so easy to do with Ableton. The algorithm of Ableton puts everything in time for you.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started making music and tried to sample, I had to use Sony Acid Pro.
Yeah.
And go in like the time stretch algorithm, and that was terrible, man. But that was all we had at the time, and it would take a whole day to get a 4-bar sample in time.
Sounded dope though.
Yeah, gritty as hell when you got it right.
Do you know what I think a lot of it is as well? Like a lot of DJs are making edits of samples for the set. And then with the TikTok culture as well, like there'll be a video of them playing it in a set, and then that just grows legs. Yeah. And a lot of people are sort of releasing off the back of a viral video, aren't they? So I think that sort of the way social media is having a heavy influence on that. They want to catch the hype while it's hot, don't they?
Yeah, there's softwares now that major labels use where it monitors what's popping off on TikTok and on what's popping off on Instagram, and they literally log in and go, this record is hyping right now, or this sound is hyping right now. Then the majors go and find the artist, go and put a stupid offer in, make a fuck ton of money out of the record, and then bin the artist off. It's mental. It's mental what's going on at the moment. You're not creating an industry full of amazing artists, put it that way. Like there's no longer big album deals with majors. It's just short, sweet single deals and a fuck ton of money.
Certainly not a side of the industry that I want to be involved in anyway.
Nah, not at all. It's very. Well, I think we're fortunate, right, where we've been in it for so long that like we have nothing else to do, right? If it doesn't work for us, we're fucked. So, but we've been lucky enough that we've built foundations, and we will always have a career in music in some way, whether it's doing what we're doing now or whether it's doing something else. Whereas I think there's a lot of artists, and I've got friends that it's happened to them where TikTok has given them a platform or social media has given them a platform. They've grown very big very quickly. And then when something didn't work, they get spat out, and then they're at square one again, fucking wondering what the fuck to do.
Yikes. Yeah, it's a scary situation to be in.
Yeah, it's rough. But we're lucky. We're not in that situation.
I think longevity is really hard to find these days as well. And I think, with the approach we've made with the music and like we've not made anything to try and catch a hype or anything like that. The music we've made is just because we've enjoyed making it.
Yeah.
There's a purity in there that's not necessarily in other releases at the moment.
Yeah.
I would say.
I agree. I like it, boys. It's really nice to kind of hear a fresh project that feels authentic and organic and come from a right place, rather than looking at the commercial side of it and how do we break through to make a fuck ton of money, which I think is happening a lot in this, which I have no issue with people making money, I think, at all. And I don't have an issue with people being successful, but I think I do have an issue with the speed of turnaround of careers where it's just not healthy for human beings to have that.
Yeah, people need to do the reps and earn the stripes. There's a reason that saying exists.